For over 85 years, Forsyth County, Georgia, maintained a strict informal policy of racial exclusion, holding a deeply documented legacy of racial cleansing, a true sundown town. Black residents, delivery drivers, and travelers were broadly understood to be unwelcome within county lines, which earned Forsyth a reputation as one of the most heavily segregated areas in the South. Behind its quiet neighborhoods and rolling hills lay a deeply documented history of false accusations, racial cleansing, mob violence, and forced expulsion that erased nearly an entire black community from the county. This is African American History is American History. In September of 1912, following false claims of assaults on white women, including the rape and murder of a teenager named May Crow, white mobs targeted local black residents. Lynchings and executions persisted for decades. Within just a few years, nearly every black resident had been driven from Forsyth County. What had once been a small but established black community had effectively disappeared. For decades afterward, the county remained almost entirely white, not by accident, but through intimidation, violence, and fear. Then, in January 1987, a small group of civil rights activists decided to challenge the status quo. This is African American History is American History.
The Brotherhood March was actually 2 marches, separated by only 7 days, but divided by vastly different outcomes. On January 17, 1987, white supremacists violently obstructed the civil rights demonstration. However, a week later, on January 24, 1987, over 15,000 civil rights activists participated in the Second Brotherhood March. Just like the first march, the aim was to focus national attention on Forsyth County's reputation for racial intolerance and violence. Veteran civil rights leader Hosea Williams joined local activists Charles Blackburn and Dean Carter to organize a peaceful march into Cumming, Georgia, hoping to challenge Forsyth County's long history of racial exclusion. Only about 75 people participated in that first march. Before they could reach downtown Cumming, hundreds of angry counter-protesters, including members of the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist groups, surrounded them shouting racial slurs, throwing rocks, bottles, and other objects. Law enforcement ultimately informed organizers they could no longer guarantee the marchers' safety. The demonstration was called off, and television cameras carried the images of racial hatred across America. The violence had the opposite effect of what its perpetrators intended. Instead of frightening the civil rights movement away, it galvanized it. 1 week later, more than 15,000 people returned. The Second Brotherhood March became one of the largest civil rights demonstrations of the 1980s. Coretta Scott King, Jesse Jackson, Andrew Young, and thousands of clergy, students, veterans, elected officials, and ordinary citizens converged on Forsyth County. Protected by the Georgia National Guard and hundreds of state and local law enforcement officers, the march proceeded peacefully through Cumming. Newspapers across the nation placed Forsyth County on their front pages. Television viewers who believed racial terror belonged to another era instead watched it unfold just 30 miles north of Atlanta. For decades, Atlanta had promoted itself as, quote, the city too busy to hate. But the Brotherhood March revealed another reality. Just 30 miles away, a county that had expelled nearly its entire black population in 1912 still inspired enough fear that thousands of National Guard troops were needed to protect peaceful demonstrators.
This is African American History is American History.
Today, Forsyth County is one of Georgia's fastest growing and most affluent communities. Its population is more diverse than at any other point in its history. Yet the legacy of the 1912 racial cleansing and the Brotherhood March of 1987 continue to raise difficult questions about memory, accountability, and whether a community can truly move forward without first confronting the violent, racist history it has long sought to forget. But ignoring history doesn't erase it. It only leaves its lessons for the next generation to discover what the last one refused to remember.
This has been African American History is American History.
I'm Garrett Walker.
I'm Harlan Kearsley, and on behalf of everyone involved with African American History is American History, thank you for listening.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the show. A coordinated, multi-pronged campaign from conservative lawmakers and far-right groups is currently being pushed to restrict Black history from being taught in K-12 schools, universities, and public institutions. Educators, parents, and civil rights organizations are actively fighting back against this assault on learning. But we need everyone to support an accurate, comprehensive, and inclusive education. That's why we ask for your help in keeping history alive. If you value the work we do, please consider donating to our GoFundMe campaign. Your support enables us to continue producing educational content that inspires and informs future generations.
Thanks again, and please, stay safe. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2026.